right now because he's running our world, was with Donald Trump in Wrestlemania 23. We was backstage doing a skit together. Donald Trump, Big Boogie, myself, and Tara, former Miss USA. Big Boogie came out, did his part. Then I came out, did my little part. It was a quick little episode, and then it was over. But that's when the drama kicked in. When it was over and done, Donald didn't want to shoot no more.
Donald Trump, he's known for that. Yeah.
He didn't want to shoot no more scenes. It was like, really, it was corny and it was hella lame because it was like, if you do these things and you have your own show, you know we got to take 3 takes. He says, I'm going back to my room. I'm done. You guys work your magic, and I'll see you when it's time for me to come out. So the production manager for that particular shot had to call Vince to argue back and forth with that because this was the billionaire versus the billionaire loses their hair match. So
don't touch anything.
It's the greatest find yet. Nothing compares to it.
But it's definitely something you should hear.
This is The Real Deal.
Welcome to The Real Deal with me, Larry Lawton, and I have a special guest with me tonight and a lot to update everybody about what is going on. Before I even get started, thank you, Oliva Cigar. They are our key sponsor. We're working on a couple other sponsors, and we got some news coming for everybody soon. Let's remember, Gangster Redemption, best-selling book, does great. Happens to be mine, so I got to promote it a little bit. I am here, everybody, and we jump right into these podcasts. I am with a very good friend of mine and a former WWE wrestler. He was in Wrestlemania 23 with Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Donald Trump. And I have a special guest, Chris Hollyfield, Mr. The Boogeyman from WWE. Hey, Chris, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, Larry? Good, man.
Good. You know, for Chris, we know each other for a long time.
Yep.
We just were filming some stuff together, and we had a fun. Chris, to let everybody know, is going to be working with us here at this whole studio, Crooked Diamond. He's part of what we all. Chris and I believe in a lot of things. We love to help people. And Chris and I first met, a lot of people don't know this, we were on the speaking circuit.
Yes, we were.
And we did some, he did the bullying, I did the reality check. But Chris, I want to get into this because people are going to get to know you, who you are, what you've done,
yes,
and stuff. You are a former little person wrestler.
Yeah, if you want to put it
midget wrestler, whatever they call it.
I just want to say former wrestler.
Okay, there you go.
I don't want to categorize tall or small to it because I did the same thing they did.
Chris, I know you for a long time, but I want the audience to know you're going to be, first of all, a guest a lot here. We have a lot of good stuff coming up, and you're definitely part of it, of course. Chris, give us your story. How did you get into wrestling? How, where you grew up? Is your family affected with dwarfism? And the type of dwarfism? Can you go into that for a second?
Yeah, I'll start with everybody in my family is average height. There's no one in my family has dwarfism. Cousins, all my relatives. You go down the family tree. I'm the only little person in the family. I have achondroplasia, Larry, which is the most common of the 200. So
200 afflictions of little people disease?
200 different types of...
Did they consider it a disability?
Yeah, because some are in worse conditions than others. A lot of them have a lot of surgeries, 10, 12, 13 surgeries. There's a lot that's had a lot of surgeries. I've been blessed. I haven't had no surgeries.
In fact, you're a power lifter.
Yeah, was.
Well, listen, we were both big, strong guys. You know how hurt today I was?
Oh.
And I'm, doing our stuff. We're both getting up there, Chris.
Yeah, what were you guys doing?
We were actually doing stunts.
Yeah, we did. No, we did like a promo for Club 52 where we're at, and Chris and I we're gonna continue a whole series of videos where we're gonna have a lot of interactions and fun.
A lot of things going on.
A lot of things. So, Chris, let's get back into your story. So, you were born. When did you even realize you were different?
Probably first day of like kindergarten. Yeah, it would be kindergarten. Because in the neighborhood, it was just, he's just a little guy. But kindergarten, dealing with people that don't live on your block, on your street, things of that nature, they don't know who you are.
Now, Chris, I know you do. I'm the jump around. That's me. Yeah. I know you do bullying program, and very successful. Yes. And anybody need it, we're going to put links in here as well. were you bullied? Is that why you do what you do?
I was name called no different than the average person that walks around in this country. You know, was I pushed around? No. Was there a few incidents? Everybody's had an incident of some sort. And I just turned it into something positive, and it became a tour for over 25 years.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Chris, did you, obviously you were, you grew up in a regular family, I know where all that stuff.
Yes.
And getting into wrestling. Now, you graduated high school, regular.
Oh,
did you have any problems in school throughout the way, or did people get to know you?
Larry, I'm a 3-year varsity wrestler. My quickest pin was 8 seconds.
Wow.
Went to States my senior year. Didn't do as well as I wanted to, but I went to States my senior year.
Did you fight regular people?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, there's no okay.
There's no my weight class. I was 100-pound weight class.
Man, you must have been badass.
And there was some tall guys, that were string bean type guys that dropped down to 100. But there was no guys that I ever wrestled that had dwarfism, if you would. Everybody was average height for a high school student.
Whatever they were.
And I just took it to them.
There was a wrestler who actually wrestles. He has no legs.
Yes.
You seen that guy?
I've seen that guy. Yes.
They say he's
bad.
unbelievable.
He's bad. He's bad.
And now it's no legs now. That's
He's
even
bad. No,
extra.
he's
Now,
bad. I
you
take
also
my hats
became a power lifter.
Yes.
I did some power. I had a 1375 total.
Okay.
375 bench, 610 squat, I think 510 deadlift.
Okay.
Something like that. It was 13, maybe a little low on the 370. I never could get the 400 on the bench.
Right.
What was your totals?
My totals, I only did bench press.
Okay. You didn't do the squat. You didn't do the three traditional.
I didn't want to try to jack up my back and my knees.
I regret it now.
I'm bow-legged, and then with our bone structure, I chose not to do that. But on the bench, you weren't touching me. I weighed 110-pound body weight, and I bench pressed 330.
Wow. Yeah, when I bench pressed 375, I was 202, give or take. I was strong, but I could never hit that 400.
400, right.
And that was the 400 club, but I couldn't get it. Obviously your athleticism, which you were very, like I said, a wrestler, but that helped in WWE.
Yes.
Now, you were in WWE Wrestlemania 23 with The Rock, with Donald Trump, and with Vince McMahon, the whole works.
The whole works.
Give us a little, how did that come about? How did you become a wrestler? How did you become the Little Boogeyman?
Well, I wrestled in high school, and I got promoted or pushed, however you want to put it, by Don Miller, God bless. He was a Florida promoter for the South region. And
the wrestling.
To pro wrestling. So what he did, the coach from Rockledge High School contacted my coach, God bless, Bill Stewart. Love that guy. He called him, Coach Guerra called my coach, Bill Stewart, and said, hey, have Chris come down. I want to introduce him to a couple people. So what he did is he introduced me to some promoters for Florida Championship Wrestling, and that promoter gave me a number to another guy, Lord Littlebrook, God bless, because when you
Lord Littlebrook?
Lord Littlebrook.
I heard of him.
Lord Littlebrook. So he trained.
Sky Lolo?
Yeah, all those guys. But those guys were before me because they're older.
Yeah.
They're much
I'm
older.
a little, you were close,
Yeah,
but
but it's a difference. But yeah, all those guys that you just mentioned. So Lord Littlebrook told me to come on out. I went out to St. Joe, Missouri, and from that point, this was in 1989, February 1989, went out and started training for pro wrestling, and we did a couple independent shows. And independent shows are shows that are not mainstream, like they're in high school gyms, high school football fields.
Well, we're doing the Dwarfinators April 26th to let everybody know, right here in Melbourne, Florida, at Club 52, which is the old Melbourne racetrack at old High Line.
Yep.
Is that what you're talking? Dwarfinators? or
No, because they weren't around. You got to think, I've been in this business over 25 years, so some of those guys were barely 25 years old.
Yeah, I was just to say they weren't born when you were at
right. So But
You're the OG of that stuff.
exactly. So
You're
what
gonna have
happened
fun.
is they pretty much kind of like took the fact that just like I was a wrestling fan, and WWE's not calling the little guys every day. They're not even calling them every 2 years, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Now
7.
you very rarely see it.
I mean, it's as we say, every blue moon. It's very rare.
Back when I knew wrestling, see, I was a wrestling fan, Chris. I didn't know if you knew that. Bruno Sammartino,
Yes.
Pedro Morales,
Yes.
King Curtis, Pampero Firpo, George the Animal Steel, Iron Sheik. I can go way,
Yeah.
I was a big fan. I went to them in Madison Square Garden in New York. That's how big they were, of
Yes.
course. Now, you met and you were on the card with the biggest wrestlers there were.
Yes.
Hulk Hogan.
I never was on a card with Hulk Hogan. Met him. Was never on a card.
Okay.
But
Who were you on the card with?
Like, I was on cards with, The Rock, Booker T, Batista, John Cena, Triple H.
Jake the Snake.
I did an independent show with Jake the Snake when Jake the Snake wasn't no longer Jake the Snake. And no,
Oh, I made you myself.
No disrespect, but just the simple fact that some of these guys I was on cards with that their heyday, they were down, it was over with. They had to very tail end of their career. But there's a lot of guys, a lot of Hall of Famers like Mark Henry. I was during that era.
Strong man, Mark Henry.
Yes.
I think he was the strongest man in the world at the time.
That's what they said at one time, yes. So I had the opportunity to meet a lot of the guys.
Now, and how were they? Respectful, offset? I mean, you don't have to point people out.
No, I ain't going to throw nobody on the bus. I tell you what it was like. Being the little guy wrestlers, the little people wrestlers, because I don't want to get it crossover and say a lot of the words that they chant, the MIDGET, that because I try to stay away from that. But the little guys could have become bigger if it wasn't for the fact that they made us more of a sidekick or the little.
It's sad to say this, and I get where you're coming from. I mean, from all the stuff that little people went through, from being thrown down alleys and all the stupid stuff.
Right.
Demeaning stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, times have changed. I don't hold anybody to what they did or anything of that nature. But I look at it, I'm not sure, though, what I remember as midget. You know me, Chris. You told me. You said, I know you, Larry.
Right.
But that wrestling, I don't know if it would have had the draw of a Hulk Hogan or Andre the Giant or do you know what I'm saying?
We weren't supposed to ever have that draw, but I can speak as well as any other guy that's out there.
And that's what that game is.
That's over 5 foot, 6 foot. I got a mouthpiece just as good as anybody else, but if you don't get that opportunity, nobody knows this. You see what I'm saying? So you get put in a spot to saying, hey, you're going to put some paint on your face or you're going to do this, you're going to run around, and that's it. And you're limited. But let's go in hindsight of saying, if we coach them no different than you coach the bigger guys. Let's put that in perspective.
I was going to ask you, is there a little guy championship? Is there a little guy? When I was younger, Chris, and I'm 63. When I was younger into wrestling and did a lot of stuff, wrestling to me, I used to see small people wrestling all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
It was every week. They'd have Andre the Giant fight two guys. They'd have Sky Lolo run under the ring, pull the pants down to the next guy.
Yeah.
Did you ever run under a ring?
No, I didn't run under it.
You know what I mean?
But I came from underneath, and it was part of the match because people didn't know that.
How well staged are those? I mean, don't get me wrong. Wrestling, you better be in shape to be a wrestler, number one. They do get hurt. They are athletes.
You get hurt.
No, anybody who tells you different is wrong. And there's a cigar for you anytime you want, buddy.
Okay.
And I look at, like you, when you went in the ring.
Yes.
Did you know the outcome? Did they tell you what had to happen? Was it like that with Vince McMahon, correct?
Yeah, well, we go through, it's choreographed, and we go through what we're going to go through during the match. And there's a lot of slip-ups at times because you miss cue, and then either you got to hopefully you can catch what you just missed, and sometimes if you miss cue, someone can get hurt. So it's one of those things. It's very, your mind has to be there, your physical and mental abilities have to be there, because if not, you can really cause a lot of problems for yourself and other wrestlers.
You could hurt someone very seriously.
Yes.
Have you ever seen somebody get really hurt? I mean, we know of deaths. One of the Hart brothers died.
Yeah. I've seen people tweak their knees and, probably tore meniscus.
You ever see like a broken leg? Or
No, never seen anything from backstage or being in a ring, anybody breaking.
And how long did you do it, and did you do it every week?
I did it off and on for, I want to say, since 1987.
You're not doing it now.
No.
You went
I'm a dad now. That's what I do. I'm a dad. I'm a full-time dad. That's what I do.
Trust me, Chris. I watch you play I watch you coach softball for your son. You remember that?
Yes.
When my
T-ball.
Was that T-ball?
Yeah.
And I met you there, and people go, "Who are these two guys hugging in the middle of the field?"
Yes.
You were the coach.
Yeah.
You were one of the coaches. So how long did you do it? Like, I mean, you're 57 years old.
Yes.
You were started at 40, I think.
No, that was
There you
when
go. Go back to
40. At 40 is when I got my big break. I started when I was 19.
You were wrestling from 19 to 45?
Yeah, in that ballpark.
Jeez, that's about when I knew you.
Not every day though.
No, I know.
Not every week. It was because once I wasn't part of the WWE. You get guys. Hey, they'll call you up, promoters. Hey, you want to wrestle? And then it was like, I didn't, because it's a different lifestyle. WWE, you're flying all over the world.
Was the pay good?
It was decent.
Decent.
It was
Okay.
decent. It was
I'm
decent.
glad to hear that, because I know what these guys go through. I've watched enough shows with some of the big guys that are on, and they're broke, man. Their necks, their backs, I know myself from fighting. When I fought, I used to fight the Roxy down at. You remember the Roxy in Fort Lauderdale?
Yes, I do.
That's where I first fought in 1992. And they had these. There was no weight class. There was no nothing. You want to get in the ring? You get in the ring? Go ahead.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah, that's a little brutal. Yeah.
It was brutal. That's the former before UFC started.
Yeah.
Do you have any contact with any wrestlers or anybody?
I don't, because we didn't build that rapport. Because, again, back to the little guys didn't get the love as the average size
They
guy.
didn't. But I loved them when I was a kid, of course. And there were a few. I used to get, like I said, I remember Skylar, but there was a couple others. I know the names, because I remembered wrestling way when I was a kid in the 60s.
Yeah, Little Tokyo, Little Beaver, guys like that.
Then they had the girls.
Cowboy Lane.
They had the girls.
Yes.
I remember there was a girl.
Yeah, they had a couple girls, yes.
I watched. Now, Chris, how did you get into the speaking and the bullying that you and I do? Chris and I, I'm letting everybody know, have a big passion for helping young people not make bad choices, not, get the most out of life and not be affected by people around him. I love Chris's shirt today, empathy, and he has it, and he's got it in spades. But how did you get into that?
Schools and people, coaches, call me up. Hey, can you come and speak to our kids? And then.
Yeah, but how did they know you did that?
No, they were just asking me before I even started.
Okay.
Larry, that's the thing. They're like, hey, Chris, man, because they knew I was a go-getter. They knew I didn't quit. They knew I didn't know how to quit. And they knew I had good energy, good vibes, and all these things. And they obviously, here I am, a little person, an undersized man in an oversized world. So what they said, they would always say, hey, man, you got a little time, you can come talk to these students for me, because so they can see what you've done and how you never give up and things of that nature.
Sure, you don't quit.
And that's when I turned it into a speaking tour.
And we spoke. I remember we spoke at the Grant Community Center.
Grant Community Center and Rhodes Park.
Rhodes Park.
Yep.
It was. I was with I think about my speaking all over the country. Literally.
Yeah.
Central Florida with different sheriff departments or whatever.
Right.
And now you're still active doing that.
Yes.
And
just got back from New Jersey.
Speaking at schools?
Yeah. Just did 13 presentations.
13 schools?
Yeah. 3 days.
Oh, my God, Chris, they had you on a tough schedule.
Oh,
and I think Nick's got me on a schedule. Hey, Nick,
I was going to say, did that take 50 people to wrangle you around, or just one?
Just one person.
Just one.
You had one. You have
how many
one
people
person.
did we have today? Shout out the team to wrangle Larry around. That's all.
Wait a minute! Don't make me out to be the hard guy, Nick. I'm the good guy.
You're like a bull in a china shop.
Chris, tell him how professional I am.
Chris, back him up.
Hey, I'm just here on the other end of this mic.
He's always getting backup. He always needs
telling
backup.
Hey, Chris, you know who you got to back. Hey, Chris, we are going to be working together. I want to get a little into this. We're going to be Chris is going to be doing podcasts, doing stuff at a studio. We're going to be doing a lot of events together. We mesh together. We both have the same kind of hearts. We both have the energy. We know the TV business. We understand what we're doing. I'm glad, and I want to thank you to come on in and join this team.
I appreciate it, and but I told you a long time. I said, hey, Larry, when we go link up, and then, timing is the word.
Timing is everything in life.
Man, it is.
In life, we have a lot coming up. Just to let everybody know, we have an event here at Club 52 called the Dwarfinators, April 26th, right here in Melbourne, Florida, at Club 52. Then we have the Kentucky Derby, which is on May 3rd, and we are coordinating, and we will have a date coming out by the next podcast on our show for grand opening. And it's going to be crazy. Other influencers, people.
Yes. We're
going to have a ton of people here. It's going to be in June sometime. We're thinking maybe after school lets out or something of that nature. We're coordinated right. Chris, you and I have been doing this for a long time. We've been around for a long time. I've been in the media for 15 years, more than that, well more than that. As an analyst on TV. I was just on Fox again, and I look at it like you learn the little things that people don't know, like when to look up, when to look at the other guy, how to move the conversation around to where you want to go with it. And you know that. We talk about being media trained, so to speak. Yep. We have now, to let everybody know, we have a beautiful studio, 2,300 square feet. How do you like it?
No, I like it. It's good. And I can't wait till it all comes together for the grand opening.
With the permanent walls, with the light, you see, the whole work is going to be really nice. We are excited. We're going to have it where people can come watch. So if you're in town and you would like to come watch a podcast at all you have to do is email Nick at crookeddiamond.com. Nick at crookeddiamond.com. Nick, you got it.
The emails aren't going to work, guys. So you guys can go to club52.com and go there, but emails definitely aren't not gonna
He's
work.
going to start getting it.
Emails are definitely not the way to go. Just
see what happens when you're that age.
You didn't even give him my work email. Larry.
I just
You're
did.
just
Nick at Crooked Diamond Cigar.
You're just giving my email out.
Yeah, Nick.
Okay, guys, just so you guys know, that's not the right email.
What
we
is
can
it?
Move it on. What do you want them to email me, Larry? Just wondering.
Nick.
What do you want them to ask me?
If they could come watch a podcast.
Okay. Comment below and I will respond. Let's get those comments up. We're
there
all
you
working
go,
on
Chris.
those comments, guys.
See, Chris, what am I doing?
Give a like. I will let you guys come watch the podcast. If you like the video, you subscribe to the channel, and you share the video, and you DM me. I will let you guys come watch the podcast. We got to get those likes up, guys. Thank you.
You were the boogeyman.
Yes.
How'd you get it? Well, you got in by just connections and a hustle.
But I wrestled for so many years prior, and then they were looking for that particular little person that was African American, and guess what? It was me.
Did you have any pushback on that? I mean, they wanted you to. Who made you the little boogeyman?
The producers, the writers.
Right. Did you push back on it or no?
No, I just took it.
Yeah, hey, money's good. Let's go.
But I knew what my goal was. My main goal was.
You worked a lot with Booker T, I think.
Just one.
Just once? Because I saw him in that. Because he's a big black guy, too.
Yeah, one skit. I did one skit with him. But I knew you're talking about the biggest sports entertainment company in the world, and if you can spend a little time, now there's your platform. And then you got to know how to use it afterwards. So what I did is after I did the Little Boogeyman, I went and trademarked the Little Boogeyman.
There you go.
So I trademarked the Little Boogeyman.
But there is a little boogeyman out there, I think.
No, there's the big Boogeyman, and it's myself.
Ah. So do you have rights to use that name?
Yes, I got the trademark. I trademarked it.
Good for you.
Yeah, I trademarked it. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
like reality check programs.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm the type of guy like, you know, if you say it's over, and I feel like I got the short end of the stick, I'm gonna do my due diligence and to help myself because I have a mouth to feed. You know, I got a 12-year-old son, so I got to look out for.
Are you still married?
I was never married.
Oh,
No,
you know,
so
I
now
knew
you
you had a kid. That's why I always thought
no,
you were married.
No, I've never married, but I co-parent.
Was that why you were trying to, touch me up there in the?
No, I was
nah,
never trying
I'm
to
only
touch
kidding. Everybody,
Hey,
I was messing with
was-
Chris.
He's messing with me.
I'm
Trust me.
messing
Oh,
with Chris.
now you need my help.
Oh,
Now you need my help.
Chris.
I'm just behind the mic telling my story.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, I've never been married. But I have a 12-year-old son, and my world is his world.
I got, here's a go. Give us a moment of one of the backstage moments that are memorable and maybe different and the audience doesn't know while you were doing it. Like you prepping, you know, whatever it is.
The biggest, most memorable moment for me would be, and he's probably one of the most controversial individuals in our world right now because he's running our world, was with Donald Trump in WrestleMania 23. We was backstage doing a skit together. Big Boogeyman, myself, Tara, the former Miss USA.
The Rock, was he in that one?
No. Just Donald Trump, Big Boogie, myself, and Tara, former Miss USA. They were on the couch doing a skit scene, and Big Boogie came out, did his part. Then I came out, did my little part. It was a quick little episode, and then it was over. But that's when the drama kicked in. When it was over and done, Donald didn't want to shoot no more.
Donald Trump. He's known for that. Yeah.
He didn't want to shoot no more scenes. And, you know, when you're doing filming, you got to do 3 takes. You got to do 3 takes.
At least.
At least 3. He was talking about, you know, I have my own show, The Apprentice.
Oh.
I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm saying. And it was like, really, it was corny and it was hella lame because it was like, if you're new these things and you have your own show, you know we got to take 3 takes because one take might be a lot better than the other, and one take might have had something that we didn't get in the best take, so we can edit this stuff together. He says, I'm going back to my room. I'm done. You guys work your magic, and I'll see you when it's time for me to come out. So the production manager for that particular shot had to call Vince.
To go tell Donald to come?
No. To come and look at what was shot. Vince wants to see everything that happens, but he can't be at every location. So he ran it back on the monitors, and then he says, "Where the hell is Trump at?" And he says, "Oh, he left. He's in his room.
He's in his dressing room."
So they wanted to shoot another scene, but Vince wasn't going to argue back and forth with that because this was the billionaire versus the billionaire loses their hair match. So, so they weren't going. He wasn't going to mess that up by arguing the fact that, hey, I need you to come back and shoot some more. That wasn't going to happen. But the way Vince went off, he was cursing. And,
I mean, did he curse at Trump?
No, he didn't say no. He didn't call Trump back for nothing.
Oh.
So the workers got the
brunt of it.
The brunt of it. And I was sitting there thinking, like, man, I hope I don't get fired because I ain't do nothing. But it was just, he was so fired up and cursing and throwing stuff that I felt like maybe he just like, hey, all y'all get the hell up out of here. You know what I'm saying?
How does the WWE work? Do you work on a contract yearly, or did you work on like a number of shows?
It's a contract.
So it's a yearly contract.
Yes.
And obviously, at what point of your career did you say, wow, I'm here, I made it? I mean, I am on the biggest stage in the world. You're at WWE at WrestleMania 23 with Donald Trump and you know The Rock, the whole crap. When did you say, wow? I mean, I look at it for myself. That's why I'm going to say something.
Knowing that I was going to Wrestlemania, prior to that, when I did No Way Out, that was a pay-per-view. We did No Way Out. When I did that.
Was it a movie?
No. No Way Out is one of the pay-per-views that works up to WrestleMania.
Okay.
So when they did No Way Out, that was a pinnacle part of like, wow, I'm here. I didn't ever feel that I made it, but I just said I'm here because I know how this business works. Here today, gone tomorrow. It's entertainment.
Billy Joel sings a song at The Entertainer. If you ever heard
entertainment is the nastiest business in the world. Nastiest business. A lot of snakes. You got to keep your grass cut. It's a lot of snakes in this business.
That's a good line. It's funny because, from being on TV for 15, 16, 17, I had my own show here. You remember the Lawton's Law?
Yep.
You never, ever. You're always hustling. You're always liking it. I was telling Nick one day, I like the grind. I like the hustle, because I think if you don't have that, what are you going to do? Yeah. What am I going to do? Sit home and jerk off all day?
I hope not, because
No, I do that anyway.
I got a nap.
But the...
napkin or something. A shield.
How was the adjustment, Chris, when you left the WWE? Was it just they didn't re-sign you, or they signed you to a less contract?
They didn't even call me back.
Oh,
they just didn't call me, and then the week went by, and then another.
Did you have an agent?
No,
Yeah.
I've never had an agent. I've never had a manager. Everything that I've done on television, I've done.
I had one in the beginning with the book. It helped me, a big agency in New York, and then I got rid of them because they don't do shit for you if they don't want, they don't see a bigger numbers or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I got on all those shows, every show, and I zillion them. And I look at that and I say, we could do it if you just work hard.
Yeah.
People think you have to have this. Why didn't you get this? I don't have the right equipment. I have iPhones set up right now. Yeah. We have equipment coming. Our manager at the new place has to take care of that. Otherwise, that's what his job is. Sammy! So, no, we're having a full setup.
Oh, yeah.
But you could do it. I started YouTube on a iPhone 10 in my mother's bedroom.
Yeah.
This is not a joke. I was living with my mother. I got out of... I moved back to help my mother, who's... You know my mom. My mom is 92 now, and I came back here when she was about 87, 5 years ago, to help my mom, right before COVID. After that, I went to... help me. I got that. So what I did... I love this podcast. Isn't that fun? We got such a new crew. This is going to be so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
We're trying to help you with the storylines.
We got the story. What are you talking about? I'm asking about a good question here. Are you seeing this shit, Chris?
I'm good.
I know you're
Oh,
good.
Chris, we know Chris is good.
I know you're good.
Oh, we know Chris is good.
I got these guys in the back. This is great. This is getting better. Wait till this whole thing's really up, Chris. We're going to have a real ball. I want to bring him on. That's the guy who's coming on here. We're going to talk poker. Yeah.
He's like the lunch lady. He's like,
do you have any crazy fan stories? I have a few of people who meet me at airports or whatever. And, in fact, I have I better say this in a very, maybe I'll let Nick say it.
No.
I have a fan that's scary sometimes.
I don't even want to talk about her.
And it can be serious. Have you ever had any fan interactions, bad or good or what?
A lot of good fan reaction, but never where I felt endangered or a bad experience. I will say, no, I haven't. I thought I'd have, but I haven't. I will say, I was just at the airport in L.A. just 2 days ago. I was in my son and I was coming back.
We talked about that, right?
Come back from L.A. and I carried this belt, wrestling belt.
Oh, you still have one?
Yeah, and I carried it. It was in my bag, and because I was on the road prior to going to California, I was on the road doing motivational speaking. So I went from Philadelphia to L.A. to take my son
Boy, do I hate that flight.
To take my son to a Clippers game. And we got to the airport that Sunday morning, my belt went off, my carry-on, And when she pulled it out, I kind of gave her the story. This is why I have the belt. That, bing, bing, bing.
What you do.
And what I do and everything. So she was like, oh, that's so awesome. And then she says, my father-in-law, she was telling me about her father-in-law was involved in wrestling. And then a couple people behind me heard the conversation. And they were like, oh, you're the Little Boogeyman? And I said, yeah. And then you could see in her face like, oh, wow, that's cool. And I was like, I don't have a problem taking pictures with you guys.
I do the same thing.
Because that moment may not never come back. And if that changes your life in a perspective of like,
anyway,
this guy was cool. He wasn't a prima donna. He was just down to earth. That's a part of changing people's lives. Giving them that moment.
It's funny. Nick will know, and I usually carry bracelet when I travel. I have the 3 bracelets. I'll never forget bracelets. Larry Lawton, Phil, one of our guys, is a good friend, and he's big with the show here, and he wears it. We first met through the show, and I carried him because when I get stopped, I like to give him something.
Yes.
And then say, would you like a picture? Nick goes, just give me the camera and I'll take a picture. And they love that. Yeah. They you could see it in their eyes. They want to ask.
Yes.
You could ask. We're nobodies. Yeah. But listen, I consider it. I don't look at that.
If you could put a smile on somebody's face and change their life in that very moment of, it might give them something to go and talk about that uplifts them. Hey, that's a great thing.
Absolutely.
That's a great thing.
Out of all the wrestlers you faced, anything, who hit the hardest? Be real. Be real.
Oh, Fit Finley kicked me in the face one time.
Who?
Fit Finley. Fit Finley.
I don't know him, man.
He kicked me in the face. Irishman. He kicked me in the face, and I thought my whole set of teeth was knocked out. I mean, I felt it.
Did you play along while it's going on?
Oh, play along. I just went back because he just literally kicked me off my feet. I mean,
literally.
No,
you felt it.
No.
Did you get mad?
No, I was. My eyes watered up, and when I went back on the mat, I just was like, man. Please.
You ever break a nose, bleed, anything like that?
Bleed, yeah. But it was nothing purpose.
You
but
let
it just
this guy
happened.
hit you?
And no, never.
This guy?
Oh yeah, Fit Finley. That guy right there.
Oh, that guy Fit Finley?
Yeah, he kicked me so hard. I saw like the first of the month.
He hit you so hard you got up and your clothes were out of style.
I was like, man, I was so nervous that he might have loosened some teeth up because it was a size 13
now,
to the face.
Did he talk to you afterwards? It was an accident, obviously.
But he said, "Welcome to the business."
Wow. He literally hit you. You were young at the time.
No, I was 40.
Oh, you were in the business.
That
but you're in the big time now.
Yeah.
And he says, welcome to the business?
Right, because when you make it to WWE, you've made it to the business.
Sure, absolutely.
So
that's what I'm saying. When did you, in wrestling, obviously not many people get to be in the WWE.
No.
I mean, that's a select few. Yeah. They have to be athletic. They have to have game.
And some of them could be the luck of the draw of just the gimmick that they're looking for. Because the gimmick, Little Boogeyman, the skill set. Now, did I have skills? Yeah. But
it's the storyline.
It's a storyline.
How much steroids did you see? Back then, it was a big time of steroids.
When I first got into business, they were using it. And then, obviously, they used it.
Vince McMahon had to use it.
Oh,
I mean, look at that guy.
But
that's the best 70-year-old guy ever.
But they went to court on that. So, that was thrown out there. He got, thrown out there on that back in that
I mean, there's no testing. There's nothing. I mean, they got to all be on roids.
They test. Just a matter of whose name they call.
Was he the one that
they're really going to test Hulk Hogan when they need him for a big show coming up?
But he got back in his era, he got exposed.
Wait, but why would they be
getting exposed? I get.
No, he got it exposed. I mean, he didn't go to jail or nothing, but he got exposed.
And nothing happened.
For using suspension,
that's what I'm saying. You got a big show coming up, WW or whatever, and you Wrestlemania, whatever we're up to. Or we got the head of the card is The Rock versus the Sheik, and one of them gets hit with a piss test, and they're not gonna fight. That ain't happening.
No.
Well,
I said, it's
And why test?
It's timing
Why test?
because you have to have.
I mean, nobody believes wrestling's 100%.
no, but there's testing in all sports though.
Oh.
There's
yeah, but
testing.
those are sports that are like
Competitive.
no, not competitive. They're like
like what?
I don't want to call it fake. It's not, but it is scripted.
Yeah.
But
There is a scripted outcome.
yeah,
You
That's
can't
like saying-
gamble.
that's
Chris.
like
but you can't
testing
say
bodybuilders
but you can't
for
say you're not going to
steroids.
get hurt though.
But that's like testing bodybuilders for steroids.
They
Well,
do some.
But
They're
they're
called the
allowed
title.
to take them.
But Chris,
They're allowed to take
Nick
them.
has a point.
That's like, well, also, hold on. That's like testing Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, or any of the Avengers for steroids. They're still doing stunts and fighting each other, but they are on steroids.
Yeah, but they don't have to have a certain image. You know,
They
but
do have to- they do have
because
to
you're
have-
going across
Sorry,
the board
sorry.
with a lot of different things. But I'll say this, and we can go on to something different. Only reason because now, just like when they have actors say, "Hey, we want you to lose 50 pounds, and we want you to gain 50 pounds of muscle." There it is. It's as
Yeah.
simple as that.
But they're still fighting in the scenes.
But the point, but you just missed what I was saying, is like whatever they're looking for, that's what they're
Yeah.
going to shoot
And then
for.
the WWE's not looking for steroids.
I
get
didn't,
it.
I didn't say they're not looking for it. It's just like we're not. I'm gonna test you, Nick, because I'm gonna pull your card this week for you to get
Yeah,
tested.
yeah.
You know why? On the validation of it says, well, Nick got tested and Joe got tested. So okay, we got those out of the way.
But I'm just not understanding why they're testing.
I-
If it's for
I'm with Nick
entertainment.
on this.
If it's just for entertainment, why are they testing?
I mean,
They gotta look
everybody
good.
either knows
They
they're
have
doing
to
it.
look
Because drug policies. They have drug policies for teachers, school, educators, all this
We
stuff.
don't have one here.
But you understand what I'm saying? There's policies
Yeah.
in place.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you ever get piss tested?
No.
So it's just the luck of the
But
draw.
it was no reason. I didn't
You
look
think
like
they lightened
I didn't
up?
look like I was on steroids.
Do you think they lightened up on like weed smoking and
They
steroids?
didn't care
and-
about that.
They didn't.
No,
Okay.
no.
They didn't care about drug use, pretty much,
No,
did they?
I wouldn't say they didn't care
It was known
because drugs and sports it's
But
there.
they were like more lenient than the NFL back then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Nick, the NFL,
Yo, I
you're a
know.
$1 million
Yeah.
athlete,
Oh,
and you're done.
Yeah.
And the reason that is, Nick, is because it's gambling. You can't bet on WWE. There's
What are we
no,
talking about?
you can't-
Gambling now?
Yeah, when there's a gambling outcome and it's a chance outcome, when there's all these casinos
Where
and
did
people.
that come from?
You're talking about football, like when you test, why do they
Smoking weed.
anything,
Why
whatever
does that
it's a
have
drug.
to do with gambling though?
Because if you get caught with a drug in your system, you get suspended.
Oh.
And that means if you're coming up, if you're the best quarterback, if you're Mahomes, and you
I
get
got
caught
it.
with a
Yeah,
piss
yeah, yeah.
test, you're not playing the next game. Guess what?
For sure.
Big money. Big money. Now, a couple other questions, Chris. I know you're on a tight schedule. Where do you see yourself going from here?
Where I see myself going from here, like they say, sky's the limit, and I'm always reinventing myself. I'm going to be changing a lot of lives as I have in the past with the inclusion community, and that's
Yeah, I want to get into that.
for people that don't know, that's special needs, intellectual, physical disabilities. I'm working heavily involved in that community. I'm the powerlifting coach for the Special Olympics. And,
Are you with the Special Olympics?
Yeah, I'm the
Good for you,
coach.
man.
Yeah. But I'm having fun, and I'm changing lives. I'm bringing their character out that nobody has before. And
I love that.
They're fun.
What gave you the passion to help the inclusive community?
Just because of the simple fact that I know times when I was discriminated, and I know that they're more heavily discriminated, that I felt that I'm a billboard for them, I'm a voice for them, and I love them. I love them. I love them. They
Love
make
the
me
underdog.
happy. They're my heroes because the effort that they put into things and the things that they tell you is brutally honest, and they don't have an agenda as the everyday people.
Everyday people.
Everyday people have an agenda just to step on you to get somewhere. all they want to do is be accepted. That's
Yeah.
it.
As a African American and little person,
Yes.
you kind of got like double barrel
I got
prejudice,
the-
especially back
I got
50
the
years,
I got the
40,
double whammy.
40, 50 years ago.
I got the double
Listen,
whammy.
I get 2 whammies because I'm an ex-con and from New York.
Yeah.
But
I
you
was in
did-
New York.
but
the
you
ex-con
put-
part.
You put one of those whammies on you.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I happen to
Put
do
one of
that.
It
those.
makes sense.
He
Makes
woke
sense.
up with both
Yeah,
whammies
I came
every
into this
day.
world like that, and no different with the inclusion community.
Yeah.
They woke up that way. But I give big shout outs to my guy Luke and Garrison and the rest of my team.
Luke, is he from around here?
Yeah,
Is it Betsy's son?
that's Betsy's son.
I know Betsy very well. I love Betsy.
Hey,
you got to tell if you see her.
yes,
because
I have her son all the time.
You must see her all the time.
Yes.
Tell Betsy Larry said
I
hi.
will.
I'd love to see her. Tell her to stop by.
I will.
Did you know my sister Donna, who passed since a while ago, started the Space Coast Early Intervention Center with Betsy.
Okay.
Way back.
Way back.
When they were on Babcock.
Okay.
You remember that?
I don't remember where they were at, but I know.
And then they opened
they
that
go-
school up on Dairy Road.
Yes,
Now
yes.
they have a whole
A whole new building now.
They have a new building and they give jobs and stuff. They really help the kids.
No.
What you said is so true. If you take a special needs person or what do you call inclusion?
It's an inclusion community because
The inclusion community, they're really happy. You know, when you see them smile, you know, I listen to a podcast and I love a person called Shane Gillis. You ever hear of him?
no.
He's a comedian. He's amazing. He's the one who he was hired by Saturday Night Live and fired the same day. Because there's some bull crap, you know, it's doing some Oriental
Words.
words.
For words.
For words.
A comedian was fired for his words, he said.
Yeah.
Please.
Anyway, and he talks about how he has maybe somebody that in his family that is Down syndrome. He goes, don't worry about them. They're always smiling. They're having a great time.
Right.
And that's great.
Oh, he says, he says,
Go ahead, go ahead.
he says, you can always tell when somebody doesn't doesn't know about people with Down syndrome. They're always asking, are they okay? And he's like, they're the greatest one in the room. He's not hyped up on Adderall and Xanax. You know, he's
Right.
he's happy. He's chilling.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and you know, and he talked about Danny. Where's the cheeseburgers, Danny?
all right.
Yeah, I'm just going into skits. But Chris, I love the fact that because I have zero, you know me a long time. I come from New York City. I come from the inner cities. There's no prejudice in me. You know, I don't look at you and say, oh, there's a small black guy. You know, or you're Chris Hollyfield. You mess with me. He always messes. He beats the hell out of me because we have the good, the heel and the face.
Baby face.
And that's Chris. I guess who's going to be the heel, people? Yeah, the ex-con. We don't get a break for a Zippo. But Chris, I thank you for coming here. You know,
No doubt.
you're going to be here. We're going to do a lot of these.
Oh, I'm looking
We're
forward
to
to it.
have topics. We're going to bring kids on. I got
Yes.
some ideas with younger people who weren't scared to sit down with us and talk about stuff. My goal here is to open people's eyes, to have fun. We call it the real deal because whatever happens, happens.
Right.
If Sam walks in again, you know, all right, he walks in. You know, I got to just forget about it because we used to have the mailman come in, and I got to get out of the fact that we are in a studio.
Yeah.
Because I was doing that. You remember my
Yes,
house studio?
Yeah.
So I love the fact that we can educate people. I want people who are listening to this, whether it's Phil or somebody, to feel like you're in the room.
Yes.
And feel part and say, these guys are just like me. I know I'm a little crazy and off, I might say, you know, but you don't think I'm saying the same thing? People ask you all the time, you know, Chris, when you're in prison, you know, they say, what do you do in prison? You know, with women, no women. I says, you know what? You do a lot of masturbation. I could switch hands and gain a stroke. And they look at me like, he's crazy. He really said that. Or you turn your hand like this, it feels like someone else is doing it.
All right.
All right.
Let's
With that said,
keep on topic or something.
look
you
at
know?
Chris. Hey,
You know?
Chris, you got to get. Look at his face. Oh, Chris, you're a pisser. Anyway, Chris, I want to thank you again, Chris.
No doubt.
Very informative. A lot of people know about the WWE. They know about what you did. And we want to continue stuff down the line as it comes. I really want to get on a whole pod and get maybe a kid or two in here for both of us because that always lights my world.
Yep.
And I know it lights your world.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you
I'm
do
with
it.
him every
How
day.
is your son doing?
He's great. He's great. He had the best
Is
time.
is he afflicted?
No.
So nobody
nobody.
around,
Nobody.
Did they ever tell you why that happened?
It's a genetic gene that it skips, and it probably was down generations, but
Really?
it wasn't in.
So you don't know if any relatives of yours have ever had?
My grandmother, God bless her soul, told me that her great aunt or her aunt had it, but my grandmother just passed away at 95.
Wow.
So if you talk,
You mean the little person?
no, my grandmother's. Everybody in my immediate family is average height. My grandmother told me that her aunt was a little person, but my grandmother passed at the age of 95. So when you talk about her aunt, that's a
My mom's there, yeah.
that's
in the 30s. No, 20,
Yes.
29, 30. My dad, yeah.
no, but I'm just saying my grandmother, she just passed away at 95.
Good for her, man. She lived a
So
great life.
what I'm saying is that it skipped so many generations.
Chris, did you worry about that? I know I got because people are gonna want to know that. Did you worry about your son being afflicted?
In the beginning, but then I said, well, no matter what cards are dealt, I'm gonna make him great, and and I kind of went with that, and I'm having the best time traveling with him because he likes to travel. He loves to travel. He's like, oh, Dad, we got to get to our gate. He's looking up.
I could see him. He's 12?
Yes.
Wait till he's 16. He's going to use, you know what my dad is? Yeah, he's going to try to pull that to get some girls and stuff.
He's a good-looking kid.
Oh, okay.
My son is a good.
Yeah, but are you teaching him how to use this?
The mouth.
The tongue? How to talk to the girl?
Dude.
No, I didn't mean that. Come on, guys. I did not mean that in that, in a bad way. Jesus,
but they don't see it
Christmas
that way.
tree.
They don't see it that way. I know how you saying it, but they don't see it that way. But they didn't see it. The world wouldn't see it that way.
How to talk to a girl.
Right. Well,
Does he have game?
He
will, if he's your son.
He's got some swag about him.
I seen you in action.
But I'm not rushing
I've
him.
seen him in action.
I'm not rushing him beyond this point.
No.
I'm gonna let him be a kid.
Does he live with you or your mom? His mom.
He lives with his mom,
Right.
but we co-parent.
Right.
So we co-parent.
I've never heard you say negative, beard, any.
I don't, because it's
Yeah.
like it's not a good contrast to what you want your son to know. You understand? Whatever our differences was, you got to suck that up, dude, and keep it moving, because what he
Life
sees,
will run you over.
but what he sees is the way he would respond to life. If he heard me call her a B word, then he would call other people that. I don't use that word.
Right.
I don't call females out their names.
Right. I hear you.
I just never. That was never been a part of me.
I called a few when they
But I just
when they've really hit me wrong.
but that's just never been a part of me, just because it's what it is. And everybody's different strokes for different folks. But
I know the Chris. You don't judge me.
No, I know no, and I don't judge for people.
You know me.
Whatever they gonna say, because that's them.
Because you don't know what they're doing.
You know-
a lot of people look at other judge them, and I said, don't ever judge another man. First of all, you ain't my maker. Number two, I've been judged by a guy in a black robe, and it can be rough. And who do I think I am to judge anybody?
Right.
Once you judge someone, Chris, I feel you're saying you're better than them. Oh, look at him. He's got a shitty sneakers. Or look at him. He's fat. He's a pig. You're saying you're better than him. How do you know you're better than him? You don't know what he went through. You don't know his a disease or whatever. Who do you think you are to judge another person? I don't care what it is,
Right,
Chris.
right.
I don't judge anyone. I respect them. Now, I like things, of course. Now, trust me, if it's something negative against kids or something, I'm with you. Let's go put them in the canal. But as far as other than that, I'm no better than any other man ever, period. In fact, I'm probably worse. And I look at that like, just whenever I see someone, no matter what, I say, because people go, oh, he's this or that. And I look at that person, the first thing I do is, how are you saying that? How do you know him that well? And why are you judging him?
Right.
Try to make yourself look better or this, but don't judge anybody, man. We all have mess ups. We all are screw ups. We all make mistakes. You know that. I know that. We know each other a long time. and we don't look at each other and say, you don't judge me on my record.
No,
I don't judge you.
That doesn't even become a part of any of my conversation in front of you or behind your back because that's not what I know. I didn't know you did, so I don't know. It ain't nothing to talk about. It's only I can only listen to what you tell me, but it's nothing for me to talk about.
That's a good point.
I wasn't there, and it is what it is. You know, it does because it doesn't like make any difference in what we do or how we communicate because we all, when we get up, there's a path that we walked, and some of us got off course, and some of us got off course, and then a lot of us, and hopefully we get back on course. So that's the only thing that we can really go by is the course that we're on today, not the course that we were on 3 weeks ago, 11 years ago, or whatever the case may be, because it don't matter. It's gone.
See, I'm a believer, again, second chances and people change.
That's a good
I
point.
often tell young people this. When you're 20, you think you know it all. When you hit 30, you look back and you go, I was a stupid idiot at 20. When you hit 40, you look back and go, man, I was pretty stupid at 30. Phil's 40, he's thinking that. When you hit 50, you look back and go, man, am I ever going to learn anything?
But
when you hit 60 and you're not there, you're going to look back and say, man, I'm still learning.
You're still always, you grow every day, and sometimes we stay in our same spot because we're not willing to grow or we want to be stubborn to grow. And it's almost as if once you become like a parent, you're always a parent. Whether you're 90 and your child's 60, you're still a parent because that title never leaves. You can't like retire that title. Even if they were deceased, you were still a parent. You know, so parents, teachers, coaches, mentors,
Special people.
are special people, and those are things that we have to continually to do, regardless of our age, because every piece of knowledge is going to put you in a place where you're headed.
Well, that's why I say people grow. When people say to a politician, 30 years ago, you voted against that. Yeah, because 30 years ago, he didn't know shit. You know, don't judge a person. Judging them on what he did 30 years ago, whatever politics. I'm not into politics. I am a libertarian. I'm a middle of the road. Get out of my way. Let me live my life. And I look at it, and people will say, 30 years ago, take Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh. They were, in college, you were drunk. Hello? I want the guy who made mistakes. I want the guy who changed. You know who I think the best police officers are? People who made mistakes, did the pot, know the neighborhood, made their choices, and changed. I mean, who of us among us has not made mistakes and could have been in jail? You know it.
Every walking person.
Every walking person.
Every walking person.
You know they say every person commits 3 crimes a day? Think about it. Guy's at work and he steals pencils from his boss, takes Scotch tape home.
If I'm on a motorcycle, it's felonies.
Who?
It's felonies. If you're just on a motorcycle, you can just commit felonies easily. You
Oh,
know?
that's
Like,
Nick.
I'm committing felonies every day and not meaning to.
Oh, you're popping willies?
He's doing so much.
Anything is a felony on a bike.
Right.
Yeah, what is true is that it's, you don't realize it until you start thinking. I was speaking at a big event, and there's about 300 people there. And somebody, I says, some guy goes, I'd never go to jail. I said, stop, it gets quiet. I said, hold on, sir. And he was really, stand up, please. She did, yeah. He goes, I live by the law. I'm Christian. I said, yes. Did you ever go over 20 miles an hour speed limit to pass somebody, get around them? He goes, I'm sure I did. I said, well, if you hit somebody, you then are vehicular homicide and you're going to prison. And that's the truth. Right. Anything you'd like to say, Chris, right now before we leave and start another show? I know because I love talking to you.
Hey, say something nice to somebody. Put a smile on their face, and always remember the good things that you tell someone goes a million miles, and the negative things can crush their lives. I love you guys. Hey, speaking to Chris Hollyfield, a.k.a. Uncle Chris, with my guy, Larry Lawton, and he's the real deal. See you when I see you, people. Later.
Thank you, Chris. My saying is the same thing. Hey, listen, it takes as much energy to be nice as it does to be an asshole. So be nice. Have a great day, everybody. Please stay safe. Thank you, Chris Hollyfield.
Thank you.
Have a great day. See you next time.
Do you guys have any questions for Chris or Larry? Chris is going to be
yeah.
on more
You want me to do it?
podcasts.
Want me to do that?
We're out.
I was going to
So
put
just-
it in there. Okay.